in here soon. So here's where things stand right now. We are in a first alert weather mode. It's cold right now. There's a little bit of snow, slippery spots, especially before you get out of the neighborhood. But then, as we head into Friday afternoon and Saturday, so basically about 2 days out, we are looking at sticking snow pretty much everywhere. So I'm going to give some people a chance to join, and then I'm also going to pop onto my Facebook page. That way I can make sure that this is interactive, a kind of conversation between me and you. So that way we can get as many questions in as possible, especially about the snow event to come. Here's the good news. We are very confident that this is a snow event. This is not last year where it was rain and snow. We've already heard from TDOT's Mark Nagy, and he says, hey, we can pre-treat this. In fact, I was talking to our WVLT in-house crews that we're going to, pre-treat and treat, and I know a lot of businesses are in the same spot. So Friday afternoon, starting right around like 11 to 12, and then a slow, steady, moderate snow for hours, maybe getting a little heavier through the overnight. This is almost entirely snow, right? Maybe a little sleet, maybe a tiny bit of rain in the southernmost end of the valley. But on the Snow Much Fun scale, I do want to be completely clear. The kids are going to love this. Unless you have big travel plans late Friday or into Saturday morning, a lot of you will love this, right? There's no reason to go panic buy or anything like that. But it is going to be a pretty good snow. So on our Snow Much Fun scale, Friday into Saturday, especially Saturday morning, it can be a pretty good sledder. This is a tool I love. It's called the Winter Storm Severity Index, and basically if it's red, not good. If it's orange, you need to really pay attention. There's actually in southern Arkansas and central Mississippi a very small extreme impact. That's more of an icing to snow thing. But what we're looking at as we come in close to home is a medium impact. So everybody has different comfort levels driving in the snow. Everybody has different neighborhoods. Everybody has different cars. I cannot speak to your specific driving threshold, right? Even if you think you're a great driver. I used to drive in the north all the time at a previous job. It doesn't mean that I'm the best at that. So Friday midday, basically if you get off the roads by like 2 p.m., maybe some early dismissals from schools, you should be okay. If you're comfortable driving on pre-treated roads, through the evening is fine. And then I would imagine a lot fewer people out on the roads on Saturday. My goal is for there to be 0 surprises here. If you follow the forecast, and that's the thing, I got to put the onus on you guys too. You have to stay up to date on the forecast. But if you follow the forecast, there should be absolutely 0 surprises by the time we get to Friday afternoon and Saturday morning. So noon on Friday, we've got some action rolling in. All right, I'm going to turn my phone down to make sure we get some of your questions. David, are we seeing any questions coming in yet? Okay. Will the power go out? Hard to say. It is a decent snow. Terry making a joke, but look, climate is warming, no doubt about it. It's just one tiny event, so both things are true. What about Friday morning? It's pretty quiet. Maybe a tiny bit of snow flying, but as we head into 2 to 3 o'clock, we are going to have some more moderate snow. So I want you to look on the upper right of the scale. The deeper the purple, the heavier the snowfall. 4:30, pretty much everybody seeing snow. This is again Friday. This is more than 2 days away. But there's little doubt that it's going to be a mostly snow event, which makes my life and your life easier. We're more confident that it's mostly snow. The more confident we are that it's snow, the more that crews can pre-treat this. What you don't want to have happen is rain into snow, because if it was rain, it would wash away all the pre-treat, but that's not the case this time. My wife is a postal worker, and she's working Friday and Saturday. When is it coming? So for Terry, this is all about answering those questions. Snow to liquid ratio is going to be important here. We're going to be close to freezing, and so that could take down the totals just a little bit, even if it stays all snow. So think of this as a pretty good snowball packing snow. This is not like a Colorado champagne powder that skiers love. This is pretty dense. And so that is something to factor in. So this is the chance of at least 2 inches of snow, and this is an interactive graphic, but it's tough to make it interactive out here in the studio or in the newsroom. But the point is, there's a more than 80% chance for pretty much everywhere of getting more than 2 inches of snow. At the moment, this product has a 59% chance of greater than 4 inches of snow in and around Knoxville. Okay, this is just the reality, no hype. And so this will be not a historic system, but it would take up about a whole year's worth of average snow. Road conditions, is this a bread and milk situation? Autumn, great question. Autumn Everett asking that. I do not expect people to go panic buying, or at least I don't think that's a great idea. I think the big thing is having water, gasoline, and medications. And then if you need to be out, right, making sure that you have four-wheel drive, because I'd love to think I could drive through snow, and I do have four-wheel drive, but it is tougher than you think sometimes. Jason Carter, where can I get tickets to the snow event? StubHub or any licensed third party? No, so we'll actually have this as a free event for everybody. So I want to make sure we get to some of your questions. How much snow do you think we will get? Okay, so we're going to touch on that. This is the snowfall impact. Purple is around 4.5. The model average for Knoxville is about 4.1 to 4.2. I think somewhere in the 4 to 5 inch range for the Knoxville metro area is pretty good, right? That could go up a little bit, that could come down a little bit. I'm not saying chisel that into stone, but there is a very good likelihood of 3+ inches of snow for most of the area. Again, we're going to start from the top here and break everything down. So one more time, we're going to look at some of your questions. It's spitting a little snow. That's from Stella. So this is why we're in the first alert, right? It's cold. It's squeezing out every last snowflake. And so it is slippery. We had sticking snow in South Knoxville near Alcoa Highway, in Maryville again, in Gatlinburg, a couple inches of snow up near Chalet Village. But near my house, nothing at all. In fact, I just got a picture from the house and there's nothing. How about for Greenville, Tennessee? Again, similar story. We'll really fine tune the snow totals. Will this affect schools? Okay, great question. So we're here, we're over here 1 to 2 days out. There is already some slippery spots. This is an afternoon and evening system. So to me, the obvious thing would be an early dismissal, right? But I don't know how much time these superintendents have banked into the system. I don't know the exact roads that the superintendents travel, the troublesome spots. I don't know about special circumstances with schools. So do I think schools will be impacted? Yes. Do I think it's a universal cancellation? Probably not. And then the corollary is, let me go to somebody's question. To Ima's question, looking at the temps, how long do you think will be impacted? There may even be some delays on Monday if neighborhoods are not cleared out, right? Now that is very speculative for Monday, but it's possible because this is a mostly snow event. Again, the good news here is that there is not a nasty winter mix. If it's just snow, we're okay. If it's just rain, we're okay. But if you get the mix, it's becoming pretty nasty. And so we already heard from TDOT, Mark Nagy, their spokesperson. He said, hey, we're going to pre-treat. Again, I can't speak to what your town, village, city is going to do. I'm hoping that the folks are prepared to pre-treat because this is a classic pre-treat situation, which would make things much better. And on the Snow Much Fun scale, for most people, this will be a good sledder. What time Friday? This is from Laura Grawl. And will the roads become hazardous? The roads, especially in neighborhoods, will become snow covered on Saturday early, lasting through Saturday morning. Hazardous, I try to steer away from words like that in a situation like this because, again, everybody's driving threshold is completely unique. I drive a four-wheel drive car. It would be different if I drove like a little roadster or something. I'm not going to be toting kids around. Of course, that makes things tougher. I live in the city, but in an untreated neighborhood, like on a little mill road. So for me, the neighborhood would be the toughest challenge. And I hope that kind of tells you why we can't give specifics, because I don't know your driving skill in the snow. I don't know what kind of car you drive. But it may just be safer to say, hey, spend Saturday inside if you can. Happily waiting for the snow. Thanks for David. Are the NAM models showing a lot of snow? So that's from Jordan. Great question. The NAM is an American map, NAM. It does have more moisture, much more so than any map. I'll be completely honest, I am not a fan of the NAM. I rarely look at it for temperatures, which it's horrible at forecasting temperatures. If you want to get into the nitty gritty, I'm much more of a high resolution rapid refresh, the graph model, or the NBM, which is the National Blend of Models. Again, the NAM is typically a horrible outlier. How much snow? I see some areas may differ. Okay, our going forecast for most of the area is 3 to 5. I think probably closer to 4 to 5 in Knoxville. Anyways, let's talk about what's on the screen before we get back to some of the questions. This is the Winter Storm Severity Index, and let me actually explain the wide view here first. So if you're traveling towards northern Alabama or Chattanooga to Atlanta, like Dalton, Georgia, all that, I would say that may be a little tougher because there is definitely a stripe between here and there, heavier snow. That said, there's no doubt there is very high confidence that we're getting sticking snow. How much for La Follette? Again, same thing. Most of us are in that early call, first call we'd say, 3 to 5 stripe. There will be some that are probably a little more, and there may be some that are a little bit less. But that is a solid forecast based on what we know today, which is, again, 2+ days out. That is really good for forecasting snow, really early. Could the accumulations increase between now and Friday morning? That's from Christopher Hicks. Yes, that is possible. Some maps are closer to 6. Brian, I mentioned earlier about Greenville, Tennessee. What time is this supposed to hit? This is from Vanna. I think they would just be smart to cancel school to be on the safe side. Again, that's up to the local superintendent. Some of the staff asked me for my prediction on that. Hey, first alert meteorologist, I think we're going to do a heck of a job in predicting the weather. Predicting human psychology is pretty tough. So, I would say be in touch with your teachers and superintendents directly. Even with pre-treating, Claiborne has so many back roads with secondary roads, it will be tough. Great point from Tiffany. Will it be safe? Okay, so this is what I really want to convey. The whole, should I drive? What's the safety? This is something, again, this goes back to I can predict the weather, but I cannot predict the human side of things. The safety thing is going to have to be up to you guys as far as if you want to travel. I think the obvious thing is just stay home Saturday if you can, but I know a lot of people can't. First responders, postal carriers, nurses, like a bunch of my family are, pharmacists, firefighters, police officers, EMTs. You may not be able to stay home. If you are very confident in your driving ability and you have a 4-wheel drive, I'll leave it up to you. Let's see. Robin says it's hazardous in rain. So yeah, maybe we just want to stay home a little bit. Anyways, through midday on Friday, things should be okay, even with a little snow flying. Snow will start to add up slowly. This is not going to come in one big burst. Let's see. Let me take you to the first alert futurecast because this is the timeline. This is what you want to know. Again, most things are starting like 11 to noon on Friday, and then we go a little farther in time. David, are you able to move that box to the bottom a little bit? Okay. Thank you, sir. We got a whole team behind the scenes here, so appreciate all the hard work our digital folks are doing. This is 4:30, so kids are home from school regardless. Perhaps your office lets out a little early. Again, I don't know. 7:30, snow continues to fly. It's steady, which is pretty unique in this system. Also unique is that this is not a rain setup. That is super helpful. Yeah, it may mean a little bit more snow, but if you don't have rain, if you don't have sleet and freezing rain, we're in a much better place as far as treating the roads goes. So this is what it's all about. No, that way, this way. The mixing ratio, the snow to liquid ratio. So as you know, if you had an inch of rain, typically that could make like 10 inches of snow. That's the classic. I think it'll be more snowball-y, probably like in an 8-to-1 ratio, which could take down the totals just a little bit. Jordan says, as long as we get snow cream, that's all the snow that we need. This, I think, would be a pretty good snowfall. AJ says, if you have a question, if it's safe to drive, you should probably stay home. That's the best thing I've seen all day. Again, that is a personal decision that we just cannot make for you. Not just because we don't know all the circumstances, but because there's so much liability in that. You can't say, Ben said I shouldn't drive or Ben said I should drive. I can't make that decision for you as a fellow adult. That's just the truth. 80 to 90% plus chance of 2+ inches of snow. That is basically everybody. Again, the newest data, which we'll get some new data in a second, is a 59% chance in Knoxville of greater than 4 inches of snow. So right around 4 to 5 is, I think, the smartest call. Flights out of Knoxville Sunday. Again, that's completely beyond my ability to predict as far as if the crews at McGee Tyson can get the things cleared. Also, there's upstream delays in Atlanta possible. So again, that's just beyond the ability to predict as far as weather goes. Hope that makes sense. The average snowfall for Knoxville is about 4.5 inches of snow a year. So it's possible that this could be an entire year's worth. We do not expect, at the moment, a repeat of last year. Other spots near Spring City could have a little more than a year's worth. Dandridge always seemed to have a warm spot. Got a pretty good amount of snow last year and got some good snow this year. What about Crossville? Again, 3 to 5 is looking pretty good. Some maps are closer to 6. How about Greenville? Again, I touched on Greenville earlier. Townsend, same thing. Lance says, prediction on Friday, Knoxville impact driving conditions time. Well, again, that is going to be strictly up to you guys as far as I cannot make it. And I don't mean this to be trite or funny. I just can't make those driving decisions for you guys, unfortunately. I can't give you, if the boss wants you to come in, I can't tell you what to do or not do, right? So we'll be here and we'll have the forecast for you. And I hope that makes sense. I'm not trying to avoid the questions. In fact, I'm trying to read them all off here. Snowfall impact. Notice everybody is in at least a moderate impact. Purple is 4+, so that is 4 to 5 for the most part. You notice to the left of Clinton, that's Windrock and Brimstone, and probably a little bit more up there. Rockwood, same thing. Again, you're looking at the purple color. Hartford's a tough call, specifically with all the challenges you've had from Helene, but I think that 4 to 5 is probably a safe bet. Impact for Sevierville and Maryville. And Brady says, when is this going to start? So please, after I'm done, go back and find the 2 different places where we talk about start time specifically, and that will answer your questions. But let's see, for Maryville and Sevierville, pretty similar to Knoxville as far as accumulations. If we get what's called a deformation band, then that would leave heavier pockets. Amy says, White Pine, will we see snow? Yes, you will see some snow. If you're watching this locally to East Tennessee and southeastern Kentucky, yes, you will see some snow in just about 2 days' time. A grandson flying out of Knoxville Saturday to Minnesota. Again, just keep up to date with that. All right, let me wrap this up, and because I think I hit the button one too many times, so David, if you'll take me full, we are going to track this for the next couple of days. Again, you don't have to worry about this excessive rainfall risk. I just hit the button one too many times. So starting around noon, schools could be impacted. Hard to say about after. This will be fun for kids, perhaps inconvenience for you. Just to reiterate, I can't make the driving decisions. I can't, I'm happy to talk to superintendents, but I can't make that decision for them. So 3 to 5, some could be closer to 4 to 5. This starts noontime on Friday and lasts through the very early morning. And we are coming up at the end of The Price is Right and the start of WVLT News at noon. So I will swap out and we'll send it over to Heather and the noon team, and then I'll be in starting at 3:30. Of course, we'll keep you updated throughout the next several days. And we'll get through this one, and a lot of you will love it. We'll see you coming up in a few minutes.